He walked on stage 3 days after losing his mother and sang like his life depended on it. What does it feel like to go from driving around a small town in a battered car to standing in front of 3,000 people at the Men in Manchester, and then to find the bottom drop out of your life? This is the story of Louie Tomlinson auditions, sudden fame, private grief, and the slow work of becoming someone who can hold the pieces, and the twist. The thing that crushed him was not the fame. It was how fame stole his normal. We start in Doncaster, 7 kids in a 3-bed house, a mum who did 2 jobs and became both parent and mentor, the kind of mother who put you on a pedestal so you could leap. Louie auditioned for the X Factor 3 times. The first 2 ended in crushing rejection. He kept going. That grit brought him to a life he never expected. He won the lottery and did not know how to spend the ticket. At 19, he signed to Simon Cowell's label, and in a few years he would co-write platinum singles and play stadiums, but early success blurred everything: independence, friendship, home. He describes the sensation of being swept away and the guilt of having things others back home did not. That tension, gratitude, and guilt becomes the engine of the rest of his story. Fans were invested in them more than the music, and that became power and a cage. Fame did not just change outfits, it rewired relationships. Louie wanted normal conversations, not awards on the wall. He missed simple things, choosing which sister to call, being present, driving home. The reality of fame was not just attention, it was the loss of everyday connection. The moment you have everything is the same moment you can lose everything. The most searing sequence: Louie's mum falls ill and dies. He remembers being told to perform, to go on for her, and doing the most difficult thing of his life, walking onto the X Factor stage days after her death. He calls those 3 minutes the darkest and also the clearest truth about what matters. Grief becomes not only personal pain, but a responsibility. He had sisters to protect, and that gave him purpose. If this story resonates, hit subscribe. We unpack more honest conversations like this. But grief did not stop the tour. It changed the rules. The band, the bond wears. Thin Zayn's departure was a shock that felt like a betrayal to Louie. Not just a bandmate leaving, but a friend taking a different path without a conversation. That was the beginning of the unraveling. Meetings turned cold. Hiatus was a word that hid the truth. Louie mourned the band the way a person mourns a life they loved and cannot have back. When your safety net disappears, you either learn to land or you fall. After the band, Louie had to rebuild identity. He admits he is not the best singer. He is okay, but his defiance and decisions carried him forward. He learned a new metric for success: fulfillment over numbers. Yet comparisons linger. He sings One Direction, songs on smaller stages, and feels the poetry of the contrast. Wembley to a 5,000 capacity room. An ache that is also a lesson in recalibration. The peak you reached at 24 becomes a mirror. It forces you to find a different yardstick. If he could speak to his younger self, Louie would say, "Give yourself more credit. Many people his age are faking confidence. Be kinder to your younger self." That confession, small human, is the pivot to the final lesson: resilience tempered by compassion. Confidence is not permanent. It is built, repaired, and sometimes returned to you by the people who love you. This is not a celebrity cautionary tale. It is a human manual. Louie's story is about how to survive sudden change, how grief can become purpose, and how loyalty can feel like both armor and prison. The real takeaway when life shoves you into the spotlight, what keeps you sane, is the small, ordinary things: family honesty and the work of choosing what to measure. If this moved you, like and share, and go watch the full interview on the Diary of a CEO official channel to hear Louie in his own voice. Full credit to the Diary of a CEO. and thank you, Steven Bartlett, for this conversation.